All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. My name is Max Opland. I'm an environmental scientist with the Fire and Resource Assessment Program at CAL FIRE, and I'm excited to welcome you today for this presentation from one of our grantees in our Forest Health Research Program. We are joined today by Han Guo from University of California, Merced for his presentation, Valuing the Benefits of Forest Restoration on Enhancing Fire Regulation. Before we get started, I do have a little bit of housekeeping to go over with everyone. First of all, as I mentioned, this presentation is being recorded, and the recording will be available at our website. You can see the URL there, and we'll post it in the chat, but we have a webinars and events webpage where you can find recordings of all of our previous webinars, as well as this one once we've gotten it posted. We will also be welcoming questions. There will be about a 40-minute presentation, and then after that we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And in order to get your questions answered, you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat at any point during the presentation, or you can go ahead and raise your hand, and we will allow you to unmute to ask your question on the video as well. So whichever you're more comfortable with, just please be advised, those are the ways that we'll be doing the Q&A. I would also like to briefly introduce the Forest Health Research Program. This presentation today is part of CAL FIRE's Forest Health Research Grant Program, which aims to prioritize research topics in forest health and fire science critical to the state of California, fund scientific studies, ensure scientific information is widely available, and support statewide plans, including the California Wildfire and Forest Resilience Action Plan. Our exciting announcement today is that the Forest Health Research Grant Program is now open, and we are currently accepting concept proposals through April 27th. You can find more information and links to apply and for our grant guidelines at the URL that is shown on the screen now, and we will also provide that link in the chat for the meeting. Just to give people a quick overview of that, the concept proposals are really brief documents. We're looking for about 2 to 3 page concept proposals. There are templates for everything. You can find them on our website. Those are what's due April 27th. And after that, after reviewing those concept proposals, we will invite back full applicants for the research grant program. So if you or anyone you know might be a good fit for our research program, please do pass this along to them. And I should also note that this research program is funded by CCI, California Climate Investments, which is a statewide initiative that puts billions of cap and trade dollars to work, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, strengthening the economy, and improving public health and the environment, particularly in disadvantaged communities. So with that, I will go ahead and introduce our presenter. Han Guo is a PhD candidate at UC Merced. He joined the Environmental System Graduate Group in 2019 and has been advised by Professor Roger Bales and Professor Martha Conklin. He received his BS in Hydraulic and Hydropower from Tsinghua University and a Master's of Science in Project Management from Northwestern University. He is interested in working on valuing and monetizing benefits of forest restoration and other nature-based solutions. Han, please take it away.
Thanks, Max. And here I'm going to share my screen. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. And this is Han, and I am a PhD candidate at UC Merced. Today, my topic is valuing the benefits of forest restoration on enhancing fire regulation. And forests across California are overstocked with small trees and brush, which is a result of the historical fire suppression and unsustainable timber harvesting. The competition for water among trees is thus exacerbated and has led to massive tree mortality. The accumulation of dead wood and small trees provides later fields that move fire from surface to the canopy, which could cause larger and more severe wildfires. And forest restoration, which basically means removing the light fire light fire-resistant smaller trees and returning to a forest with larger trees that are widely spaced has been recognized as an effective way to improve forest health and resilience. Due to the tremendous damage caused by the frequent wildfires, there is an urgency of forest restoration. However, insufficient funding sources have hindered its pace and scale. Thus, our study focuses on valuing and monetizing the benefits arising from forest restoration. Forest restoration benefits water-related ecosystem services, such as the hydropower and water supply. While it benefits other ecosystem services such as carbon storage, timber production, soil retention, and air quality regulation through the mitigating severity of wildfires. Throughout these studies, we used the two ongoing projects to illustrate the project-level benefits. The two projects, namely the Yuba project and the French Meadows project, are located in the Upper Yuba watershed and the Norfolk American watershed, respectively. The area of the two projects is over 5,000 acres and another one over 3,500 acres, and the treatment includes thinning and biomass removal primarily. So the first part of the study is valuing the benefits of forest restoration and enhancing hydropower and water supply in California's Sierra Nevada. And this is a picture of the Cartwright Reservoir, a part of the PG&E hydropower system in the North Fork Kings River. And for the hydropower storage and the part of PG&E's pumped storage system. So the work of this study has a reference here. We have a paper. We have a paper that has been online showing the work, and we can refer to that if we have interest in that. So in California, forests are critically important for water supply. The forested land within the Sierra Nevada provides over 60% of California's developed water supply. However, the quantity and the quality of water are threatened by overstocked forests, frequent wildfires, and a changing climate. Removing trees can make more water available for the remaining trees for in-stream flows and for hydropower generation. The economic value of these benefits has been understudied compared to the abundant research on the change of quantity of water yield during forest restoration. Basically, if we remove the trees, remove the overstocked trees, and we make less trees there, and then there will be less evapotranspiration, and then we'll make more water yield for the downstream water uses, and this will be converted to kind of economic benefits for the downstream water users and the water rights holders. So the method of the study, first we developed the hydropower model to simulate hydropower generation and mapped the power generation and the revenue to identify the areas of priority for forest treatment. And then we estimated the effect of forest treatment on increasing the water yield by using the effect of historic wildfires as a proxy. And then we use the estimates of additional water yield to adjust the inflow to the hydropower models and use the marginal price of water to estimate the benefits of hydropower and water sales. And we started with the hydropower simulation. It is performed in the Stella, a visual programming language for system dynamics modeling. And the equations here shows how we calculate the power generation and the revenue. And there are two figures that are showing we use the stocks, flows, converters, and connectors representing the reservoirs, inflows, outflows, and the algorithms among them. And the operation rules has been confirmed with the operators of the hydropower system. And the input of the models are the inflows of the corresponding reservoirs and the hourly energy prices. We obtained this inflow data from USGS, and we have the predicted energy price from another source that considering the changes of the future renewable energy. So this kind of prediction of the future energy prices, which is how much dollars per hour if we are generating the power. So we can see that The model showed good simulation scale for both the two systems, and with R squared of 0.97 and 0.91. Generated wet years generates more power, while dry years are critical years and less. And in these two systems, the upper one, which is it's in the upper Yuba watershed, generate more powers than the below one, which one is located in North Fork American watershed. And the estimation of the potential water yield is based on the annual water balance, Q minus P, Q equals to P minus ET minus delta S. And Q refers to runoff, P is precipitation, ET the evapotranspiration, and delta S is the change in the subsurface storage. Since we are mapping a multi-year average water yield, the delta S was omitted, and the precipitation and ET data are from the CICS, which is the Center for the Climate Solutions, California Climate Solutions. And the average annual water yield across two watersheds over 15 years are shown in the first two figures. We can see that only part of each watershed have to show the hydropower value, since the water yield in those areas will go into powerhouses downstreams, while the water yield in other areas may not. This map gives us a reference of where to implement the projects. The ET are from the Center for Ecosystem Climate Solutions, and it is based on a relationship between the ET and the NDVI, which is a normalized differences vegetation index, and the precipitation data from the parameter elevation regression on independent slopes model. This are all 30-meter resolution and the yearly temporarily. So then we examined the effects of forest treatment on water yield by using the polygon historical wildfires in the moderate severity. So we extracted how the ET changed post the wildfires for 50 years and see how, as a proxy of see if we do the treatment, how the ET will change post those period. So we can see that the mean ET dropped significantly for the first year and gradually recovered to the pre-fire level over the following 15 years. We apply these values to the two projects, and we can estimate how much more water could be yielded due to the forest restoration. And it shows that we have more than 5,000 acre-foot in the first year for the Yuba project, and over 3,000 acre-foot in the first year for the French Meadows project. And then we will estimate the benefits using those additional water yield. So the benefits are summed over the 15 years, and we can see that for the panel A, the Yuba project, how much value for the hydropower could be obtained, and for the panel B, that's how much water sales for the Yuba project could be obtained, and the total benefits combining the hydropower and water sales could reach over $1,224 per acre. And that's for the Yuba project, and for the French Meadows project, which is located in the North Fork American watershed, that's over $1,631 per acre. So we also did another scenario analysis, which we have one more critical or dry year, and we take out one wet year, and we did a statistical analysis using the Monte Carlo simulation. We want to see that if in the next 15 years, if there is a drier climate scenario, that how would that impact the benefits? So our analysis shows that there is a 13% and 16% increase for the two projects respectively in terms of the benefits. And more benefits come from water sales versus hydropower. And we use the marginal water sale price of $500 per acre foot for the critical or dry year, and $200 per acre foot for the average year, and $50 for the wet year. So that's the numbers that we communicate with associated water agencies, and that could be much higher for the future. And that's something, that's a historical numbers we got, and that not be the best representation for the future scenario. And what we have found that the current price for the water, for the California's water, could be high at $900 per acre foot currently. So that will be given the scarcity of the water resources, that price will be go higher, and we can see more benefits if we do the restoration and see how that will benefit the water users. So some conclusions from our study. First, the treatment upstream the hydropower system yield more benefits. Since we sell the water twice, we have the hydropower and we have the water sales if there is a water rights holders that can use this water. Second, the benefits from the water-related ecosystem services could be high enough to cover the cost of strategically placed treatment. Because we also consulted with what the cost could be for this project. It's around $1,200 per acre for the UBA project, and maybe a little bit higher for the French Meadows project. So that's just for the implementation cost, and we didn't include the plan cost and the other cost that happens maybe before the planning or something. So we found that the benefits, the water-related benefits, could be high enough to cover the cost. So that's another finding from our analysis. And third, in a drier climate, the benefits for the systems will be even greater, as the water shortage increase the value of water for both the hydropower and the water sales. And moreover, as this figure shows, there are 19 watersheds within the Sierra Nevada that own hydropower capacity over 100 megawatt. So that's providing greater opportunities for forest restoration to generate more benefits that beyond the mitigating the wildfire risk. So we can see from the figures that in Sierra Nevada, we have a lot of hydropower systems, and thus providing us the opportunity that we can have more benefits in terms of either the power generation or the water sales to the downstream users. And that's the first section of our study, which we studied what could be the benefits of forest restoration on the water-related ecosystem services. And then we are working on another part, which is evaluating the benefits of forest restoration on enhancing fire regulation. For this part, we are studying indirect benefits, which we first mitigated the severity of wildfire, and then the benefits come from the avoided cost due to the wildfire before. So if we evaluate the severe wildfire, and then we evaluate some cost arising from that. So the fire risk, first one is the fire risk and total benefits. The fire risk is a product of three things, which are the burn probability, burn severity, and the value loss of the ecosystem services. So the benefits comes from if we lower the fire risk, and that's how we get the benefits here. So in this study, we studied the 4 ecosystem services, which are the carbon storage, timber production, soil retention, and air quality. And I will introduce them one by one in the following presentation. Yeah, we can see this figure. That's a figure. This picture is something like if we do the forest treatment, what it could be. We removed the smaller trees and biomass, and we leave the space between those trees. and that will lower the burn probability and also lower if it burns here. The severity of this is more likely to be a low severity wildfire. Yeah, and our assumption is the maximum benefits in the first year after treatment, and with the increase of the vegetation, so that the potential for a fire risk will increase linearly during the following years. This is the overall equations that we use to calculate the benefits. Basically, we are using equation to describe what we have shown here, where the benefits come from. So here, we kind of extract it. We want to know if we do the treatment, what's the reduction of burn probability and what's the reduction of the burn severity. Here, the burn probability means the likelihood of place that's going to burn. And the indicator for the burn severity, we use flame length, which means if you see a fire and what's the flame length could be, if there's a high flame length, then it will more like be a severe wildfire. And if it is a low flame length, that could be a low severity wildfire. And we extracted the fire simulation data from Paralogics. They have fire simulation products, and we want to see, okay, if there is a treatment, how much burn probability will be reduced and how much flame length averagely it will be reduced due to these actions. And we found that we also use a low to moderate wildfire as a proxy of treatment, and we use those polygons in 2020 to extract their fire simulation data from 2019 to 2021, see how that reduced from those 2 years. So we found that there is a 81% reduction for the burn probability and then 71% reduction from flame length if we do the treatment. That's an assumption of our study. That's a basic assumption of the study that if we do treatment as proxy of the low to moderate wildfire, and there will be 81% reduction and 71% in the burn probability and flame length from that. Also, we studied what's the recovery of the flame length if we do the treatment. So we extracted the time series flame length data from the 6, and we see that averagely it takes about 10 years for the flame length to recover to the pre-disturbances level. So we use the 10 years as the benefit period of now our study. Oops. Okay. And then we analyzed, okay, if we predicted the flame length and how does that mean in terms of the burn severity? So, like if we predict a landscape that it has a flame length of 5 feet, and that could be a high severity wildfire, moderate severity wildfire, or low severity fire in the next year. It has a probability of the occurrence of different categories of burn severity wildfire. So we collected millions of this wildfire data, and we use also this MTBS wildfire data and the Paralogics wildfire simulation data. And we can see from this figure, if it is predicted at 0, so it will be a very high chance that it will be a low severity wildfire. And with the increase of the predicted flame length, the 3 categories, the 3 different severity of wildfires kind of mixed here. And then when it goes up, it will be like a high severity wildfire. So we also use this one to determine our effect of treatment, how we reduce the burn severity, predicted severity of wildfires and those things. Okay, so carbon storage. Carbon storage as a stock is an ecosystem service that contributes to climate regulation. Carbon is stored in forest ecosystems in the form of living tree biomass and dead organic matter. The total carbon storage was estimated to be 3.1 billion metric tons for the forest ecosystem in California. And the wildfires, as this picture shows, can make those carbon stock as a carbon source when the wildfire happens. So the wildfire contribute to carbon emission if there's a severe it's very high severity wildfire happening there. And to do this, we kind of analyzed, okay, how much carbon would be reduced due to different kind of wildfire. We selected 27 wildfires and extracted the carbon storage, what the change of carbon storage in different burn severity. So the carbon storage data are also from the six. They have the time series carbon data from 1985 to like 2020, and they have live carbon and dead carbon. So from these figures we can see the averagely after the height of the wildfire, the carbon storage will be reduced by 3.3 kilogram per square meters. And when it is a moderate wildfire, it is 2.0 kilogram per square meter. When it is a low burn severity, it is 0.7 kilogram per square meter. That's the mean value for the 27 wildfires happening from 2000 to 2017. And we consider both live carbon, carbon dead and carbon live. And to estimate the economic benefits that we do the treatment, we use the indicator of social cost of carbon, which is an indicator that how much the economic damage the carbon emitted, 1 ton of carbon emitted into the atmosphere would cost. For that, we refer to a study which gives a number that it is estimated to be $185 per ton for carbon. It's a dollar value in 2020. It would rise to $233 by the 2030. So we have numbers of the 10 years, which is a period that we're analyzing. And we have a range of that that reflects uncertainty in the social cost of carbon, given that it will include a different component in the estimation process. So there's some uncertainty there. And then we can see we have a number for the dollar value here. If we do the treatment in UBA project, it is a $220 per acre benefit that we can obtain by doing the treatment, and that's the value of carbon that we can save, given that we reduce the probability of high severity wildfire and reduce the severity of the wildfire if it happens. And for the French Meadows project, it's $322 per acre, and this bar shows a range of the high and low value for that. So that's for carbon. And then we started the timber. So it's kind of follows the same process for the fire risk part, but we have some timber data set that we can use to calculate its benefits. The trees in these two project area are dominated by those species, and they are all good source for timber. And we estimated the value of the timber within those two project area by collecting the data like the height of the trees and the dBH of the trees, the diameter at breast height, and we use the log rules to convert those trees into the unit that their timber industry always used, which is 1,000 board feet. Yeah, we have those data layers for that. We have a density of the trees, and then we can know the value of the lumber sorry, before and post the value of lumber before and post the treatment. So in terms of the value of the lumber, we refer to a number that is we collected a 50-day moving average price of lumber from 2019 to 2021 based on a Market Insider, which is an online source for those price information. And it is $528 per 1,000 board feet. So we calculate how much 1,000 board feet are in this each pixel of this project area, and we assume that if there is a high severity wildfire, the value of the trees for the lumber would be completely destroyed. So if we do treatment, we keep the trees from wildfire and we got some benefits. If we don't do that, then there'll be a problem because the wildfire will destroy the value of trees for that. Then we have the benefits of that it is 760 like $67 per acre for the Yuba project and $1,638 per acre for the French Meadows project. That's how much timber value we could save due to the forest treatment. And we have soil retention. And after high soil wildfire, the landscape that the capacity that to keep the soil could be lost, could be a loss due to the hazard wildfire. And we have some equations to this. Basically, these benefits come from the expected sediment delivered due to wildfire when there is no treatment, and the sediment delivered due to wildfire when there's a treatment. And the soil loss was calculated in the revised universal soil loss equations. And we have some other parameters and data to calculate this. Basically, if we do treatment, we lower the probability of high severity wildfire, and we move those severity towards a more like a lower moderate severity wildfire. So that will change some factors in this equation, the revised universal soil loss equation, primarily for the C here, which is a cover parameter. So the C is a NDVI-based number, and we also collected how the NDVI will change due to the change of different wildfires, and we can see that post the high severity wildfire, the NDVI, the mean NDVI is 0.28, and after moderate wildfire, the NDVI is 0.36, and after the low wildfire NDVI it's 0.46, which comes from we collected the wildfire from 2006 to 2017, and as a time series, the NDVI data set, we collect them and see how the wildfire could impact that. And we use that to calculate the C factor here, in which we can know the impact of the forest treatment on the wildfire and thus to the total soil loss. And we have RKLS, these data layers from the State Water Resource Control Board. So they provide the statewide data layers for this. And this figures shows a difference of the expected sediment delivered of if we do treatment or we not. So the blue bar here, it means that if we do not do the treatment, how much the sediment could be delivered from the first year to the year that we analyzed, the period that we analyzed. And the red bars shows if we do treatment, that still will be some expected sediment delivered, but it's much less than if we don't do the treatment. So the difference here is the benefits that we get. Also, we mapped in the whole California that which areas will be considered for soil retention benefits, because we consider that if we don't do the treatment, those sediment will be accumulated in reservoirs and thus impact the power generation and water uses. So we mapped all the powerhouses in California and the reservoirs that feed those powerhouses and the watershed that supply the water to the reservoirs. So the third map here is a map that the watershed that we will consider that will have a benefits for your soil retention. And we have the cost for dredging the sediment. That's a cost that will avoid from the forest treatment because if it impact the function of the reservoirs, we will have a cost that we want to dredge the sediment. And we based on some studies and we give a range of that. That is perhaps for the $110 per square cubic meters for that. And then we have these numbers that the benefits we can have that avoid the loss of the soil retention, capacity for soil retention. And then the last thing is I'll be very quick from this one, air quality. We estimated how much less the PM 2.5 emissions could be reduced due to forest treatment. And then we use a bin map that could be used to estimate the benefits from that. The benefits comes from the respiratory and the cardiovascular, those two main illness that we consider, which is most studies linked those illness to the wildfire, exposure to the wildfire smoke, especially PM 2.5. So it also will give us a $182 per acre for the UBA project and $348 per acre for the French Meadows project for that one. And so, yeah, that's for those two ecosystems we studied. And these figures shows the red bar here, and it's the cost, and the bars that at the right of those red bars are the benefits. We have the water-related benefits, we have the fire-related benefits. We can see that those benefits are greater than the cost, and more benefits could be obtained from the fire-related benefits. We have all the things that we have talked about. So for the UBA project would be reached $2,745 per acre. For the French Meadows project, it is higher for like over $4,000 per acre for that. All I have presented is the project level benefits, and we want to expand that to more areas to the whole Sierra Nevada. So these three figures are showing a map that give us the reference of where the most benefits could occur in the Sierra Nevada. So the first one is the carbon benefits, and second one is the timber benefits, and third one the soil retention benefits. And the soil retention benefits is closely linked to the map that we figured out which watershed will have an impact to the reservoirs in terms of the erosion. And those figures and those maps are generated based on, I think, first the fire simulation data. So where is the high potential of wildfire, where then there will be most likely more benefits from. Also, it has a relationship to the carbon data layers, the timber data layers, and the soil retention, the potential for soil retention, the potential for the erosion, like if there is a higher erosion potential, if there is a higher sediment delivery ratio, then there will be a higher risk for soil retention. There will be more risk if we do the treatment to avoid that. And for the timber, if there are more trees that could be regarded as timber or lumber for the value for the trees, and then there will be more benefits if we do the treatment. Carbon, the same extent, carbon has some correlation with the timber since the trees is a large source of carbon storage. Also, the wildfires are another factor that greatly impact those maps. So give us a reference of where we can implement a forest restoration project that has a greater benefits in terms of the areas that we have studied. Yeah, that's it. I think that's all the contents I'm presenting. Basically, we are studying the benefits of forest restoration enhancing the fire regulation. And the first part, if we do the treatment, how much more water we can get and what's the value of that. And then we studied, okay, we do the treatment, how much of fire risk we could avoid it and what's the value of that. So that's the two sections of our study. Yeah, hopefully I present something here. It makes some sense, all these things, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Han. That was a really fascinating presentation. And with that, we'll open it up to questions from the attendees. We will stop the recording here in just a second.